What's up, guys and girls? This is Shadow Walker, bringing you how to improve in FPS games, that's first-person shooter games. So, I've been watching a lot of how to improve at X game videos, and most of the time it involves you're doing something wrong, you need to change this one thing, and you'll be awesome like me. Like, because the YouTuber that's doing it is usually good. I'm just going to go ahead and say I'm not the best at FPS games. I'm not actually the best at any games, mainly because I'm what I call a game hopper and I just play a lot of games. But I'm not necessarily the best. I'm not like awful, but I do know how to improve at games because I've done lots of improvement in my life. And really it's the same for every game. It's the same for everything, like almost everything just in life. It's kind of part of society that we don't want to do anything. We don't want to spend the effort to do things. We just want to be able to do it well, even when we haven't worked on it. Like, I would love to be able to play the guitar, but I haven't really spent the time to practice, and I can't just wake up one day and decide, I want to play the guitar, and then I just start playing the guitar like, I don't even know, like some awesome guitar guy. I don't even know people that play guitars super well. I mean, heck, it'd be great if I got 1 million subscribers with my first video, but you have to work at that too. It just doesn't happen suddenly. So basically the best way to get better at FPS games and any game is just play it. Just play the frickin' game, because if you want to be good at it, you just have to play it. Like, most of the time we want like tips and tricks, how to be a perfect gamer, and usually that involves like get this gun, or you gotta follow this specific thing and you're gonna be awesome. But they really never say like just play the game, like that's the way you get better. But nobody wants to hear that, I guess, because that's the harder way to do it, spending time on working on it. Things like mice, keyboards, and surround sound headphones are cool, and they help, they definitely help, but playing it is just so much more effective. Like, a lot of the pro League players, and I know for League, probably other games, but they like live in a house with their team and they practice for like 12 hours a day. Like, that's all they do. They just wake up during the work week and they just play games all day with their friends, and that's their job. They get paid for it. Most of us just want to be a pro gamer to play, like show up at some tournaments, get some money, and then go home and do whatever, which is really not how it's done. There's a study that says that if you want to do anything super well, you have to spend 10,000 hours on it. And I'm not saying you have to spend 10,000 hours on a single game, because that's ridiculous. My most is probably like 1.2 thousand. What? 1.2 thousand? That doesn't make any sense. 1,200 hours is probably my most. I'm also a game hopper, so I can't rack up too many hours on one game, but basically 10,000 hours is crazy. So it might be different for things like games. Maybe it's just gaming in general for 10,000 hours. I don't know. But it's pretty obvious that more time equals better skill and stuff like that. A lot of you know those guys that don't play like a game at all, and then you invite them over and just like, oh, you should play this game, and then they dominate everybody that's played it for like ages. And I'm like that in some ways. It helps with YouTubing and stuff because I can hop between games and not be a complete noob. But I wouldn't consider myself one of them. I just can learn things fast. But that's way different than being good at a game. Like, some players in PlanetSide 2 are battle rank 100, and I don't think a lot of us realize how crazy that is. Like, I've played 350 hours of PlanetSide 2. I think I played 100 hours before I got the Steam client and 250 while I have it. But anyway, I am battle rank 39 after 350 hours of PlanetSide 2. And it gets so much harder each level, and they're battle rank 100. That's just insane. I think gaming is probably sort of like school in a way. Like, there are those people that don't really try and they get good grades anyway. And then there are people that like work their butt off but they don't get as good of grades. But no matter what, I think you can improve no matter where you are, and I think that's really the important thing, is just improving yourself wherever you are. And again, I definitely wouldn't consider myself pro in any game. I just like playing games, and like if you look at my KD, I'm a bit above average, which is 1.0. Like mathematically, that's like the mean. But I'm definitely not exceptional because I don't really play as much as a lot of people. But I think it's fun, so I play it. But you should have seen me when I first started. I was terrible. I had like a 0.4 KD, which means I was getting killed 2.5 times like before I would get a kill. I was that guy that would shoot at an AFK target, and the guy would have time to put down his sandwich, reload his gun, turn back towards me, and kill me before I killed him. It was ridiculous. I've gotten so much better though. Like I figured out my playstyle, which is a big part of being good at a game, like knowing what you're good at and what you're not good at. Average accuracy in PlanetSide 2, don't quote me on this because I heard it from somebody else, but I think the average is somewhere like around 20%. And I used to have 7% accuracy. That's pretty bad. That's actually terrible. But I've gotten my accuracy up to like 33%. I think 34% is my maximum for like non-shotguns, because I mean, if you have like less than 20% accuracy with a shotgun, that's actually kind of impressive. But anyway, like I have 34% with the TR starting sniper, I forget what that's called, and 32% with the Vandal, which is the new gun that I actually pretty like. I like it pretty well. It's got a nice feel to it. I wish I had more damage, but that's a separate thing. There is one interesting thing, and yeah, the best way to get better at something is to play it, but that's not the only way. There's this study, I forget what it's called, but it's some kind of like pilot study, where they had these people that weren't actually pilots, and they would bring them in. There's this not military simulator, they have a flight simulator. It's supposed to be the most realistic flight simulator in the world, and so they would have people dress up in full pilot gear and look like a pilot and everything. And before the whole experiment, they had them take an eye test, and then during the experiment, they had them take the same eye test, and because they wanted to see if people would actually improve their, like literally improve their eyesight just because they're a pilot. Because psychologically, like if you think a pilot is supposed to have good eyesight, they actually proved that it's possible that if you dress like a pilot, your eyesight can improve, because 60% of the people scored better on their eye test during the flight simulator than they did before, which I think is kind of crazy. But it was a study that was done, so I definitely think there's some truth to it. And so I like having all the cool like mice and headphones and everything and keyboards. Like they don't make that much of a difference, but clearly it does make some kind of a difference, and I mostly just get it because I think they're fun. I like having cool looking things. I'm a huge aesthetic player, so I spend some of the most time in Guild Wars 2 and MMOs in general, and even in most games where this is an option, making my character look pretty awesome. So I do like the look of things and everything like that. Like card back collecting in Hearthstone is something that I am looking forward to doing for like ages to come. But yeah, there is that, but it's so much more effective to just spend time playing the gosh dang game. So if you don't want to spend the time on it, then maybe it's not worth it. Like maybe it's fun sometimes, but if you don't find yourself, like if you find yourself dreading playing the game just to like grind out the hours, then it's probably not worth it. Like if you want to go pro in a game and you hate playing it, you probably shouldn't play it. Yeah, there are times in games where you have to do things you don't like, but most of the time you should be having fun. That's part of the reason I don't play Guild Wars too much anymore. Like, I found that the only way to get money is through grinding dungeons or grinding champ trains and all this random stuff, and mostly just doing the same stuff over and over. And I even tried to make it funner by like, yes, funner is a word now actually, I think. I tried to make it funner by like watching, like I would put a YouTube video on my other screen and I would pay attention to that while I would be doing champ train, but I I still felt like I was wasting my time, and it just was not fun for me. I would spend so much of my Guild Wars 2 time getting money, which was boring for me, to spend a few hours doing stuff that was fun for me. And I'm not saying that dungeoning and everything is boring for everybody, because we all have different tastes, but it wasn't fun for me, so I would much rather be playing something that was fun most of the time. So that's why I don't play it as much anymore. I still like mess around on PvP and Elder's World, and I still do dungeons sometimes. I just don't like running them constantly like I used to. And again, that's not to say everyone experiences it the same way. I'm sure there are plenty of people that genuinely like grinding for gold and doing dungeons and stuff, and I can totally see that, but I'm just not one of them, so I don't play as much. And I've never really been like, man, I wish I had just spent my entire Saturday afternoon just running so many dungeons so I could get some money. I would regret it if I did do that, honestly, because I'd be like, where did my Saturday evening go? Like, it's gone now, and I can never do anything else, which is pretty bogus. I'd much rather have been playing another game, honestly. So I hope that was helpful in some way to you, and for those of you that want to watch my other videos, that'd be really helpful if you could subscribe to me and do all that jazz and stuff. So, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.